Hey everybody, it's Christina Holloway here, and today we're going to talk about a form of communication, which is getting what you want. Let me just try to explain exactly what I'm talking about. I have clients who come to me regularly and ask me, how can I get somebody to see things from my perspective, or how can I show more authority? How can I stand in my authority and make decisions and get people to cooperate with me? And so I'll ask them, how are you showing up? What kind of conversations are you having? And they'll tell me, for example, I had a big meeting. I have people who work for me. And in the end, I'll say, well, would you like to handle this responsibility? Or what do you feel like doing today? Or what do you feel like doing for this project? Or, they're very vague questions. When I go back to them and we start talking about their communication style, and we know that they've been given responsibilities to lead a project, lead a team, lead an initiative or a department, and they're still asking these questions that are vague. Do you think you'd like to handle this particular responsibility? Do you think you can do this? Do you think you can do that? Well, if you ask somebody in those terms, do you think you can handle this? They're going to either tell you, yes, I can, or no, I can't, because these are yes and no questions. And many times you're allowing them to opt out when you ask vague questions like this. Now, in order to learn our leadership style, we want to start making our statement questions or our statement ask, and it works something like this. For example, you might have somebody on your team that you think would be good at working in the communication plan. So you can either ask them this way: do you think you might be able to handle doing the communication plan as one of your responsibilities on this project? Or you'll make an ask statement. And in terms of an ask statement, it's more direct and it's more concise and it's more decisive. And here's how that looks. I'm going to put you on the communication plan as one of your deliverables for this project. It's important that we get this done first. So we need to have this finished within the next 2 weeks. How soon do you think you can have it done? So there's a difference between the two. One of them is very vague and open-ended and asking permission for the person who's the subordinate if they agree with your decision. In a leadership role, there's really no room for couching your requests that way. As a person who's running a program or running a project or running a department or a team, you're now in a position to say, I decided these are the things that I'm going to be doing, or these are the things that we're going to do together. And because I decided these things, I'm now going to give you permission to navigate inside my decisions. That means I've decided you're going to work on a communication plan. I also looked at the project and determined that it needs to be done in the first 2 weeks. Therefore, you now have that responsibility and you have a deadline. So how soon can you get this to me? And we want to give them permission to say, I can get it to you in 1 week, or they can tell you, I have a very heavy workload, so I'll need to get it to you by the end of 2 weeks. Either answer should be acceptable. Don't give them a parameter or a timeline and then tell them, I'm sorry, but at the end of 2 weeks is not soon enough. If that's the case, then don't give them that parameter. But I want you to see the difference between the two. And a person learning to step into a leadership role struggles with this very concept all the time. This is a very common request or circumstance that my clients struggle with when they come to me and they want leadership coaching advice. They want to step into their role and they want to understand how they're supposed to do that. My projects never get finished on time. My team doesn't listen to me or respect me. My bosses are constantly telling me I'm not doing things correctly, or I'm not getting things done, or I'm focusing on the wrong things. And this is the first space where we make a change, making your ask statements. When we create statements like this, and this absolutely is relearning a learned habit. You need to relearn how you show up at work if you're in a position of making decisions. When you get into that space, you relearn how to ask permission to move forward. Even if people are your peers and they're all sitting on a project with you, your biggest change, the biggest way you can step into a leadership space is to say, I have permission to run this project. I've decided these are the things we're going to do. And my statements are now within the confines of my decisions. How are you going to bring me those deliverables? That's the way an ask statement works. We use this all the time. We use this for everything. Anytime a person is struggling with, I can't get anybody to work with me. For that example, I have a client who struggles a lot with the people who work for her. They have more degrees, and I think they feel like they know more than she does. Therefore, they feel like they're smarter than she is, and they should be allowed to make decisions, but they work for her. And a lot of times she's intimidated by that concept. Well, they're all PhDs, so therefore they're smarter than I am, or they know more than I do. And the context is not really. You were promoted and you were put into this position because you know how to make leadership decisions. They do not. And someone needs to lead them. And it isn't about who's smarter. It's about who's more capable of doing a leadership role. She clearly is more capable of doing a leadership role. So when I asked her, why aren't they listening to you? She says, I bring them these projects and say, do you think you'd like to do this? Well, if they feel like they're in a position of authority and that they don't have to agree with her, they're going to tell her, no, I don't want to do this and I don't see the value in it. But because she's positioned as a leader and other people are counting on her to get these projects done, and these are the people who are sitting on her team, her biggest change was to show up in front of these people and say, I've worked with leadership to create these projects. Why? That gives her authority. And then she's able to say, we've mapped out the progress of this project. This is what we're doing in phase 1. This is what we're doing in phase 2. This is what we're doing in phase 3. And I'd like you to do this part. I'd like you to do that part. And then the third person, I'd like to do the third part. Now, when we get to the first part, that's this month. I want all of these deliverables done by the end of this month. How are you going to prioritize that work? So the question isn't, do you think you can do these things? The question now is, how are you going to get these things done in the time frame that I gave you and in the responsibilities that I assigned to you? It's very clear. It's very direct. And it doesn't require you to be pushy or manipulative or authoritarian. What you're doing is you're making an ask statement. Your statement is, these are the parameters. Your ask is allowing them to decide how they prioritize what they've been assigned. There's a difference. They are being given a choice. Choose inside the parameters I gave you. And I'm okay with you picking anywhere inside that parameter as long as it gets done inside what I've outlined for you. They don't feel like they're being micromanaged. They don't feel like they lost control or they lost choice. They've been given choices. They now are completely funneled. So you're allowing them to make their own decisions, but inside the framework, inside a funnel that you created for them that leads them forward inside the project or the deliverable that you determined. Okay, so that's it for this video today about how to get what you want, really, how to help others make the type of decisions that you need them to make, and how to empower yourself to make requests or demands of these people on your team or these projects and then be successful at it. So this is about stepping in your authority, creating a power play, making ask statements, and filling in your authority. Okay, so thanks for watching this video. If you like this video, click the like, click the subscribe, and click the notification bell. Thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.